Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. I would say, hey, Jen, but she's not here. She's on her way home from a week at Disney World, staying at the Grand Floridian, which, of course, she was. I think last night she was somewhere else. I don't remember. I don't keep up because I'm at, Pop Century when I go, so I don't know how the other half lives. But she'll be back next week, giving all her trip reports and such. But this week, I'm delighted to have back on. I can't even say guest to the show because she's a frequent contributor to the show. So I'm just going to say frequent contributor, Kyla. Hello, Kyla. How are you?
Hi.
And of course, Quasi-Producer Heather, our third rotating co-host. She's the one we call upon whenever one of us is out. So Heather's back. Hi, Heather.
Hello.
So top of the show, Heather, how did you Disney this week?
Well, I went to Disney. I actually met Jenn in Disney. I met her in my park, Magic Kingdom. We chatted a little bit, and by we chatting, I mean that Jenn and my littlest, Calissa, had a full-fledged, hour-long conversation while me and Brady just sat back and watched them amuse each other.
Kind of on Jen's level. That's yes. Fun. That's hilarious. Kyla, how did you Disney this week?
Three quick things. I put together a Disney basket for my daughter's school gala coming up this weekend. Mm-hmm. I booked the yacht club for a surprise mom and me trip for the summer. And I'm starting to get in all the things that I ordered for my mom trip this month, like all the matching t-shirts, like all those things. Nice. So very excited week.
Nice. Well, Shop Disney has a sale right now on some shirts, some Hawaiian print shirts and fun shirts. There's one that I wanted that was $60. Now it's only $40. So what did I do? I ordered it because of course I did. I'm like fretting about money and for the fall. I'm like, do I have money to take these trips that we're looking at? I don't know if I do or not. Yeah. Oh, here's $48 for a shirt and some shipping to Shop Disney because of course, why not? So yeah, I'm hoping to get that in before we have the pity party, which of course is our Pittsburgh meetup. Our agency all meeting up in Pittsburgh, except for Heather, who is like, you know what? I'm here in Florida and I'm staying in Florida. And honestly, she may never leave the state again. I'll be honest with you. She will. So Heather, this is the first time you've come out with this since you have made the full-time move to Disney World, or to Orlando. I say Disney World, to Orlando, to the area, but it might as well be to Disney. Give us up to date. How is everything going down there? You guys are moved in. Everything's good. What is it? I mean, give us the overview.
We are unpacked. Everything is unpacked. We have started to pick what color we want, different bedrooms and things like that. It is amazing because at any given day, I just decide that, well, I'm done with work for the day. Let's go down to Disney. Let's go to the parks. Let's go down to Disney Springs. It's awesome. The weather's amazing. It rains for like an hour here every day, so I don't have to use the sprinklers to keep my grass green. It's just, I love it. I love it. There's something, Kyla did a post the other day, and she put, it was a hashtag, and it said like, love where you live. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so surreal, because I can honestly say that like, I love where I live, which is honestly why I'm not going back to Pittsburgh for the fam.
I think that's awesome. I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, she realistically can wake up on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock and say, hey, we have guests coming over at 2. Load up in the car real quick. We'll go right to Space Mountain. We'll have lunch at Columbia Harbor House and we'll be back by 1:30.
Jealous.
I can't fathom.
Yeah, Jenn said that she was going to Magic Kingdom, and I was like, okay, well, we'll head over there around like 4 o'clock and we'll meet up with you there. And then every time she eats somewhere this past week, she was like, if I lived here, I would eat here every single day. And I'm like, it's an option.
It's like, well, all right, Jen, I'll meet you. Let me get done with the dishes real quick, and then I'll hop in the car and meet you over there. It's like you're meeting at a Target or something to go shopping for picture frames. You're meeting at Disney World. It's ridiculous. Kyla, up in New Hampshire, I love the posts, and of course, I love both your Instagrams and stuff. But Kyla, of course, Disney Geek 27 on Instagram, and you're constantly posting about where you are. You're the one that says love where you live. It's always not just Disney, but it's like you love the water, and you love Boston, you love all the adventures and stuff. What's it like living up there in New Hampshire? I mean, I don't know anything about New Hampshire other than it's cold, like from October to April. maybe.
Yeah, it blows me away that you have no idea the sense of having 4 seasons throughout the year. But yes, Boston is amazing. I'm originally from there. We live an hour north on the seacoast of New Hampshire. Yes, New Hampshire has a seacoast. There's 17 miles of it, and I live 3 miles away from it. I smell the ocean all morning. It's amazing. But yes, this weekend we went out to Portsmouth, which is on the water, and there's just tons of shops. There's shops and there's restaurants and there's bars, and they're all like little small businesses. And it's a very small community. People are happy. There's sunshine. There's the ocean. I can't live anywhere where there's not the ocean. I don't feel comfortable.
So you don't see like Nebraska is not in your future.
No, I've been there. I've been to every state, but I could never live like outside of like the seacoast New England area. There's just so much to do. Like I'm an hour from Boston. I'm 5 minutes from the ocean, and I'm an hour from skiing in the mountains. Like it's like a perfect little corner. Like this is my life, this little corner up here. It's awesome.
Now, is it Vermont, New Hampshire, and then Maine, or is it Hampshire, Vermont, and then I always get the two confused on the map. Like I couldn't, like I have to remember which one looks like an H, but then it's upside down. I think Vermont's the V, but I don't know. It's strange.
The New Hampshire is fat on the bottom.
Okay, so it looks like the H. Okay, very good. That's awesome.
I thought you were asking me like what states were in New England, and I'm like, all right, let's start at the very beginning.
No, I've got the New England states. I know that, but I'm looking at a map with no states on, with no names on it. I'm like, I think that was New Hampshire, and I think that's Vermont. But
yes.
I'm sure there are people that get Colorado and Wyoming confused. I don't. But New Hampshire, Vermont always kind of threw me off, because they're so close together and they're copacetic. And
this tiny, tiny little coastline, and it's beautiful. Well, I just took a walk there Tuesday mornings, beach walks, me and my friends.
Yeah, half your posts are like pictures of flowers and trails and water and Boston and whatever. And the only thing I know about Boston is what I've seen in the movies, From the Town and Patriot Games and Fever Pitch. That's all I know about Boston. That's it. That's all I got about Boston.
New Kids on the Block are from Boston, right?
They are.
Okay,
they are. From the town that in fact, I think I told Heather this before. My parents would like drive us to like Donnie Wahlberg and Braintree, and we would just like sit outside of it. I don't know what we were doing. I don't know what we were like waiting for. Like he was gonna come out and like say hi, but we just like sit outside of it and like wait. But like,
we don't want Donnie, but if we get one of them, we'll take it. That's fine.
or Dorchester, Quincy, wherever it was. But like, we were never the only car there either. It was very bizarre. It was a very bizarre little,
when I was in school, you couldn't, as a dude, back in the late 80s, you really couldn't admit you liked New Kids on the Block. I did, but I really couldn't admit that because all the girls liked them and the boys didn't. But I know a lot of New Kids on the Block songs, a lot of them by heart, probably more than I would care to admit. I even had Tonight's my favorite. Tonight is my favorite New Kids song, and I know it by heart. We're not going to sing it here, though, because we're going to talk about Disney. Let's talk about some news. So a few little nude headlines, and of course, all three of us being travel agents with Upon a Star. We're not an Upon a Star official travel podcast, but we're all with Upon a Star, so why not? A few little headlines here. Splash Mountain done at Disneyland. Now, I believe, is there still a Splash Mountain at any of the other foreign parks? Heather, do you know that?
No, there's not.
So all the Splash Mountains in the world are gone. They're all gone officially, for sure. I think it was a 4-hour wait or something yesterday for the final day of Splash Mountain. I don't know that I would have done it for 4 hours, but I might have waited an hour or two just to ride it one final time. But that's complete. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is expected to be opening up at Disney World at the end of 2024. Sometime, I'm guessing, then or shortly thereafter at Disneyland. Tiana's Bayou Adventure, same track. It'll be the same track. It'll just have a different theme and different music and such. So, just look out for that. Starcruiser. Any hope of anybody staying in the Starcruiser are very slim right now. Starcruiser, of course, last week we announced we're going to close it. They closed it. It's going to be closed it's going to be closed at the end of September. So all voyages at the end of September are gone. They opened up rebooking and new bookings last week, and within half a day, it was a meltdown. Everything just kind of, because Disney technology, that's what happens. It was all gone. And I had I was actually on the phone at 6 a.m., got my client taken care of within an hour. And I was actually naive to how bad it was, because 2 hours later, there were still some of our fellow agents that were like on for 3 and 4 hours, getting cut off and not able to get through. And I think our friend Kelly had like a client with 4 different weeks of availability, and none of the 4 worked out. And so if you want the Starcruiser, contact myself, Kyla, Heather, any of us, and we'll keep a lookout for you if we can. There are a few spots that are opening up here and there, but overall. Did either one of you try for the Starcruiser at all for yourself or for clients?
No.
For clients, yes. I got it for clients. I got it for one of the other agents' clients too, but for myself, no. I've never seen a Star Wars movie in my life, so I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Been on the Starcruiser. That's what's crazy.
I don't know anything about it.
The Star Wars fan that I am, and I've seen all the movies multiple times and can rank them 1 through 12 in my mind. Could not get on the Starcruiser. Heather, who's never seen a Star Wars movie, and Kyla, who's not actually sure what a lightsaber is, got to go on the Star Wars.
I loved the Star Wars movies growing up. In fact, I will tell you, this is way behind. This is my 4th Disney thing this week. Frank and I started The Mandalorian. Way behind. I realized that.
That's okay, though, because you can shoot through all of them without having to wait for the next episode. The first 2 seasons are phenomenal. The 3rd season, so it's up and down.
Don't tell me.
So I would also say this, that if you want to keep up with the whole storyline and not be confused in season 3, you're going to need to watch the book of Boba Fett. After you finish season 2 of Mandalorian, watch Boba Fett. It's not great, but some of those later episodes kind of explain what happens in season 3 of The Mandalorian. Just a little tip there for you. More pressure, more work for you to do. But when you get there, let me know.
Timeline before you sent me the timeline of like the movies and the order to watch them.
And you looked at it, your eyes glazed over, and you're like, "Okay, I'm going to Boston." Rock and Roller Coaster reopened
on the beach.
Rock and Roller Coaster reopened again. A soft opening last week. I'm not sure if it's officially open, but I know it's in soft openings, and there are like hour-long waits for it. Nothing's changed. It's just been redone. Did we think it was going to change at all? I know the rumors were out there, but did we even think it was going to change?
I was really bummed that it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. In fact, Heather and I did a thing at the 50th where we stood in front of it and we were like, what's it going to be? What's the new theming? Nothing. The same.
Mm-hmm.
What would you have changed it to? What would be a good idea? What would be ideal for you guys to see it change to?
I really thought it was going to be the Goofy movie thing. It's like
that power line and
yeah I thought that's what it was going to be. Someone said though, what was the rumor that it was going to be like? Was it going to be the Queen songs or something?
That would have been awesome.
I had heard that. I heard Queen. I've also heard I heard that people were suggesting the idea of doing the Muppets, like Dr. Teeth, because the Muppet Mayhem is out now on Disney Plus, and everybody loves the Muppets, and it would be a great Muppet addition to do it to the Muppet Mayhem or whatever. But Steven Tyler is back and doing his little hand thing. I love that idea, or whatever he does with his hand. Did I just get it censored? Sorry. Yeah. So Rock and Roller Coaster reopened, and finally, in case you are under a rock in the Disney world, 2024 is now reopened, or now opened for booking. We don't know for sure if it's all the way through 2024. It's supposed to be, but we're not quite positive. But contact your local travel agent. 2024. The system is shut down right now. Everybody tried to get online and book. I honestly didn't try very hard because everything will still be there. I can't imagine all of standard rooms of Caribbean Beach for mid-August selling out like today. I could be wrong, but I think I'll be able to make do. So
All-Star Sports will probably still be open.
Probably. I can get a preferred All-Star Sports room right now for like 2 weeks from now and be fine. So I think it'll be open for 2024. But
go for music, David.
Yeah, I always go for movies though. If I'm doing All-Star, if I'm doing value, I go pop. But if they're insistent on the
go to, yes.
Yeah, if they're insistent on All Stars, I will go movies. But yeah, so 2024 is open. Good luck. May the force be with you, and may the odds forever be in your favor, or whatever it is. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie or read that book. Let's talk Disney Springs. Disney Springs is this wonderful, massive area that I still get confused in when I walk around certain parts of it. I'm like, turned around trying to figure out where everything is, and I'm sober the whole time. And so Disney Springs was downtown Disney for a while. Before that, it was I don't even remember the name of it. Disney Village or something to that effect. I don't remember the full name.
Didn't have something to do with like Lake Buena Vista.
I think that's when they first opened. I probably, as a nerd, I probably should have had the history pulled up in front of me, and I don't. But now it's Disney Springs. 2015, 2016, they made that changeover. They added a bunch of new stuff. Pleasure Island, of course, went away many, many years ago. And now it's Disney Springs, where you can do shopping and build Legos and go toy shopping and eat lots and lots of stuff and drink and snack and Starbucks and coffee and get in a hot air balloon and watch a volcano shoot fire and get a ferry going around to your resort and back. It's crazy. Disney Springs is what we're going to talk about today. In particular, some of our favorite things in Disney Springs. And we're going to talk about Disney Springs dining in particular because we all love to eat. We all love to snack. More than eating, I think I like to snack more than anything else. I love to snack at Disney Springs and at Disney, just a churro and a pretzel and a Mickey waffle and an ice cream and another ice cream and a slushie and whatever. I have one meal and snack like 14 times during the day and look at my credit card and I'm like, oh, I just spent $200 on snacks, especially at Epcot, which Heather hates, but still, it's so good. But first, let's talk Disney quick service in Disney Springs. What I thought would be fun was to kind of mention, each one was to kind of mention maybe one or two favorites, one or two that we enjoy, and then our absolute favorite. If you could only do one quick service at Disney Springs on one day, what would you do? Kyla, why don't you kick us off? Quick service, a couple of favorites, a couple that you enjoy, and what is your favorite quick service at Disney Springs?
Polite Pig. Right out of the gate. It's Polite Pig. It's so good. It's so good. They have like these crunchy pork rinds. I'm not a bourbon drinker, but Frank the Tank is. So they have, I don't know, 100 different kinds of bourbon and whiskey in special bottles, and he knows what they are by the bottles. I have no idea. I probably just get a margarita every time. And it's just like a great little quick service. They have indoor seating. They have outdoor seating. We actually ate there for Christmas Eve once and ordered a whole big old barbecue board for our Christmas Eve dinner. And it is
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I will concur on Polite Pig. That is my favorite. Like that'd be my go-to if I had to only pick one. I only had a few minutes or an hour or so to eat lunch. I'd go straight to Polite Pig. I love Polite Pig, not only because their service is really good and it's quick. You don't wait long for the food.
Yeah.
Even if the line's out the door, it moves fairly fast. So while you're not, you may wait more than 5 minutes, but you're not going to wait 45 minutes to order or to get to the front counter. They're very amenable. The portions are large. I mean, it's Disney prices, but for what you get, it's good price. I always get the chicken sandwich, and it's this massive piece of chicken. And put a little dab of mayonnaise on top, which is just perfect. They have the little sauce bar. You get your different barbecue sauces, hot and spicy and white sauce and whatever. They have different sodas, including which last time I was there, I don't think they had it. Before they had like a cream soda and a Blue Sky cream soda and a Blue Sky root beer, which was really good. I can't remember if they had it last time, but it's a good environment. It's a really good place to eat, and it's fairly affordable. Heather, what are quick service for you? What is your favorites?
So I was always
twice a week.
I was going to say obviously Polite Pig as well. Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever gotten the pretzel with like the beer dip? Or the wings? Yeah.
The Polite Pig?
Yeah.
I haven't because I always default to the chicken because I don't go as frequently as I'd like. So I'm afraid to get something I don't like. So when we go, you need to order it so I can try it to see if I like it.
Okay. I can definitely do that. Or like how they have those like mini sliders so that you can taste like a little bit of like each one.
Those are really good.
Yes. And then what's the one, what is it? I'm drawing a blank here. What's the one? Is it called Cooks of Dublin that has the fish? Yes. So we will do that for a quick service as well. But Polite Pig is definitely the go-to for quick service, hands down. It's delicious. It's the best. And the line is always insane for it because everybody knows it's the best.
Yeah. I mean, it's one that I don't know that I would try on a Friday or Saturday night for dinner. That might be a little tough to get in, especially if you have kids around you. But overall, like I said, we don't wait that long for it. Typically, the line moves pretty fast. I'm also a fan of Deluxe Burger. It's not my go-to every time, and I don't have it every time I go. But it is one that I default to. Polite Pig, I just can't get into it for whatever reason. Massive cheeseburgers. They have great milkshakes. Again, fairly affordable. They have a big heaping pile of fries that go in there. And Earl of Sandwich is actually really simple and really easy. And it's almost like you're eating not even at Disney World because it's just a sandwich shop. You just go in, order what you want. The people behind there, I would not be shocked to hear somebody yell "no soup for you" because they're just very like, "What you got? All right, cool. Going down there and pay for it. What you got?" I mean, it's not like they're unfriendly. It's just they're just move, go. We gotta go. We got a line. Let's go. Come on, move. Know what you want when you get up there.
I've never eaten at Deluxe, but it's funny you said the pretzel, Heather, because I would say that Jock Lindsay's is like my backup quick serve because they have this massive pretzel. David, do we get it? I feel like
I think so.
I feel like I've been there with you the most out of any besides Frank.
Right.
But yeah, they have like that is like a great quick serve, but it's not like a true quick serve. I feel like because it's more of like a bar, but they have like small bites and sometimes a secret menu. So that's a good
secret menu.
Nice.
Secret menu or small bites.
For the listeners, everybody should know that Kyla loves Disney Springs.
It is my favorite.
When I reached out to her about this episode, this was literally her clapping. I want to talk about Disney Springs. I mean, that was literally, that is word for what she said with the clap. And I could just see it. I mean, it was hilarious because she was excited about Disney Springs, which is great.
I love
And
so much.
unless you guys have anything else to wrap up the quick service, I really wish I miss Wolfgang Puck Express. It closed down several years ago, but that was also a very cheap, large portioned place to eat. It was over in the marketplace next to the Christmas shop. You could go in there, have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner, probably get out for $15 or less a person and have a decent sized meal, a pasta or chicken or whatever. And I really wish that place was still open. Anything else quick service wise for you guys?
That new chicken guy place is always busy, but I've never tried it. That's like
good.
Guy Fieri.
Yes, my girls are obsessed with him, particularly
and there's like apparently like a bunch of different dipping sauces and whatever.
Yes, I don't know how many there are. There's like 25. Let's say there's like 25. But Bella loves him so much she had me take her picture with like the cutout of Guy in there. But the French fries and the sauces, like that's why I would go. Chicken's good, but I go for like French fry and the sauces.
The sauces.
Well, and I know for Kyla and I, and Heather, not so much because you're there now, but for Kyla and I guess we're on the same plane in terms of when you go, you don't get to go that often. So you want to make sure you go to the place you love to go, which for me, a lot of times it's Polite Pig. And I'm like, I could go somewhere that I've never been. I could chance that I might not enjoy it, or I could go have a meal at Polite Pig and love it and know that I'm going to love it. What do? I don't know. Maybe. A last place too, and this I guess we go into snack too, but we'll get to snacks in a few minutes. Everglades Donuts has quick service as well, and they have really good sandwiches. They have great sandwiches. They have nitro brew coffee. It's kind of ducked off in the corner. I don't know why. I guess they didn't have an open space where it's apparent, but as you walk by, I don't know if it's close to Splitsville or whatever, but you have to kind of take a left as you're going towards one of the garages, and it's right there on the left, little kind of cranny over in the corner, and it's super good food. The little breakfast sandwiches they have are really delicious, and so anybody looking for a breakfast spot, dip in there. They have a lot more than just donuts. It's really good. Let's move on to table services, your sit-down meals. We can talk regular, signature, and all of that. Heather, where do you love to eat for a sit-down meal at Disney Springs?
So, ironically, I am not one of those fancy foodies, which you would think that I would be, and I am not. Boathouse.
I believe it.
Is hands down my favorite restaurant in Disney Springs. So much so that when I knew we were recording this, I was like, oh, I wonder if they have a reservation. And you will find me there at 4:15 today.
Jealous. Get the duck drink. Get the drink with the little duck that floats in it.
With a little duck that floats in it.
I
always get the duo dips and chips. Me and the girls love it. And I always get that firecracker shrimp and their calamari.
Yes.
Oh, that's like my three things. Like, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm ordering every single time. And David, I will say that I am guilty of it too, that if I know, even though I've only lived here for a couple months now, but like, I'm like, oh, I know what I want. So I want to go down there to eat something that is like, I know I'm going to love it. So my go-to is always Boathouse. And I've eaten at other ones, but go-to. 4:15 today. That's where I'll be.
See, if I lived in that area and was able to get to Disney Springs on a regular basis, I would make it my mission to eat at least once at every single place in Disney. It might take me a year and cost me $5,000 over time, but I would make it my mission to sit down and eat and try and sample every single place at Disney Springs just to say that I've done it, just to know that I have done it and crossed off the list. And so, but as of now, I'm like, well, I can go to Polite Pig, or I can go to, like, I don't have a lot of big foodie places there. I'm like you. I'm a foodie, but I'm not like Disney Springs. I have to have a sit down. I like Boathouse. I've only been once because it's signature dining. Once that dining plan kicks in, it's a 2-credit dining. So that's not something that I could just plunk down a lot of money for. I'd rather buy a shirt. One place I do enjoy though is Raglan Road. It's simple food. It's Irish food, British food, whatever, shepherd's pie, things like that, fish and stuff. And they have the dancers right there in the middle on the stage, I say cloggers. They're not cloggers, but like the Irish dancers doing their thing, and they had the music and stuff. So it's a very festive atmosphere. I don't know that I would go on a Friday or Saturday night because it's a little rowdy in there because they have the full bar and such. But it's a really good place to eat. It's a good family place. And speaking in terms of allergies, which my kid has allergies, it's a good allergy place too. He's always gotten something there that's been really, really good for him to eat. Like they'll do a burger with no bun. They'll do whatever, gluten, dairy, soy free, all that stuff. They do it for him. So I enjoy Raglan Road, and I've been to Morimoto a couple of times, and I enjoy Morimoto. Well, I haven't been in a while. Matter of fact, ironically, that was the time that I met our co-host Jenn and some of her friends when I was first introduced to part of the agency, when they were supposed to meet Kyla for lunch, and they skimmed out on her to meet me in May of 2019, where, I joined the agency like 3 or 4 months later. So,
oh, we're busy. We can't come meet you. Lo and behold, 2 months later, oh, we met David for lunch. He's going to be part of the agency now. Awesome.
We did that, and we did the Void, the Star Wars Void, which was awesome. You should have come. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
I wasn't invited.
Well, I didn't know. They would have been like, they could have been like, well, hey, we told Kyla that she couldn't come, but should we? I would said yes, invite her along or whatever. Or Heather, bring Heather instead. So, Kyla, I know you also had an experience at Jaleo recently. Tell me about Jaleo.
Jaleo.
I was going to say, is that how you say
Jaleo.
Jaleo.
I'm from Alabama. Jaleo. Did you have yourself a quesadilla?
Sounds like an H, David. And I will tell you that because my parents were Spanish teachers and it was my first language. So Jaleo is
I knew that. Sorry.
By Jose Andres, who is like world-renowned chef. And it's all of these small plates. And I had the pleasure of dining there with Frank and apparently David when we went for Run Disney a few months ago. He joined us for the last course and then stayed. But it's amazing. I mean, the wine, Spanish wines, like top notch, lots of small plates, charcuterie, cheeses, meats. They have like a leg of pig come over and they like slice it off for you. Like it's very, very cool experience. And if you like small plates, if you like Spanish flavors, tapas, chorizo, paella, like all of these are dishes that you can order, or you can just get an entree. But we like lots of small plates, like to try everything. It's like I could like relive the whole thing for you. It was just amazing.
It was good, and to be fair, I was invited to come in and say hello, so I did. And then when I sat down, I was invited to sit down because one of you or your husband Frank said, "Hey, have a seat." So I sat down to talk to you guys, and then your husband Frank so graciously said, "We got plenty of food here. Do you want some?" And I was like, "Well, okay, if I must. I don't want to be rude and be like, I don't want your food and walk out." So I, as he's handing me steak and sides and everything, I'm like, well, okay, well, I guess I'll just try this. And because it was a lot of food, there was a lot of food being brought.
We like to eat. We're foodies. Oh,
and
like
there were the people.
Peel peppers with goat cheese is just so good. Like I could just, oh my god. And then like endives with like nuts and like tangerines and like sliced almond. Oh my god, it's just so good. It's so good.
And it was funny to me because there were the servers walking around with the huge hunks of meat on a rack, and they would come to your table and just slice it off the hunk and throw it. It was almost like Ohana on steroids, where they were just bringing around not skewers, but actual like large 50 and 60-pound chunks of meat and just chopping it off right there at your table, and there you go. And they're just wheeling it around like they're taking around laundry or something. Like, here's the meat, have at it.
It was like
Heather,
best table sir. I love the boathouse too. I love Raglan Road, but Jaleo was like, it's like an experience. I felt like.
Now, had you ever been there prior to this?
No, I hadn't been there, not yet. I was waiting. No, wait. Yes, I was. I forgot the kids were with us the first time. So it wasn't quite the same experience having the girls with us. But with Frank, we ordered a lot more. We had a bottle of wine. Like it was a different experience. The first time around we did a little bit more casual because the girls were with us, but this was like an adult, kind of, we were able to relax meal.
I also recently went to Portofino. Paradiso 37.
Is that good?
It's pretty good. It's like a Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville kind of restaurant with a lot of islandy food and Caribbean kind of food. It was fine. I had flatbread as an appetizer, and that was my meal. It was $20 and I'm out, so it's pretty good. What about atmosphere for the restaurants there? Because quick service didn't really have atmosphere, but in terms of if you're going for the atmosphere over the food, and I say that by saying like T-Rex Cafe, which I think is a great restaurant for atmosphere. The food's okay. The atmosphere is great because you got the animatronic dinosaurs. You've got the ice room where you actually are surrounded by quote unquote blue ice. The whole room is just blue because, whatever. You have meteor showers happening on the ceiling, and you've got like a jungle room and everything. So the kids love it because it's dinosaurs and it's cool. A lot of the same food you're going to find over at Rainforest Cafe because they're owned by the same company. Same kind of flatbread, same kind of chickens, things like that. The atmosphere over there is a little bit different, but I'm a big fan of T-Rex when it comes to atmosphere over the food. Is there anything that comes to mind for you guys that you're like, I love the food's okay, but I love this atmosphere. I love this ambiance of this restaurant that I'm in?
I would say the Edison.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah. I will suggest that to clients, and I will suggest Raglan Road because of the Irish step dancers. But the Edison is cool, especially at night. So if they do have littles, I'm like, hey, this is what happens after a certain time. So
right,
if you're comfortable with like stilt walkers and people swinging off silks and bands and kind of funky steampunk vibe, this is your spot. But but if not, go to Raglan Road.
Yeah, I like the Edison. They've got the great appetizers and stuff with the dancing corn dogs and the candied bacon, clothesline bacon. So, which is pretty good. I'm a corn dog fan, so I like the little dancing corn dogs, which is really just 3 corn dogs put up right into a little stick thing, and so when you move them, they kind of wiggle. So it was like they're dancing weenies.
I had no idea what you were talking about. I
couldn't anticipate saying the word dancing weenies on this podcast, but here we are.
And so now we're censored twice.
There we go. Let's talk about the snacks. Now, Disney Springs is a great place for snacks because whether you're hungry or not, whether you want a sit-down meal or not, you can always find something to snack on. And I will start this by saying I love Swirls on the Water, and I love their Dole Whip flight because they change it every season to basically what's going on. They'll have everything, and they have your traditional Dole Whip, and you can buy a Dole Whip flight, like 3 little portions of Dole Whip for about $7. So it's an incredible deal. And they'll have everything from like the 50th. They had like a 50th birthday cake Dole Whip and a regular Dole Whip, and they had like a jalapeno Dole Whip. And for another, for Christmas, they might have like a red velvety kind of whatever Christmas Dole Whip and something else seasonal Dole. Like every season they change the 3 up, and you can get them, and they're perfect for sharing because again it's $7, and one person can probably share 2, or you can just share it amongst the 3, or do like myself and eat all 3 by yourself, which I've done many times before. Big fan of Swirls on the Water. That's over at Marketplace, close to the Rainforest Cafe. Snacks. Where do we love to snack at Disney Springs?
I have 2 favorites. One, if I am in the mood for just like something that's like salty and I want like junk food, I will stop at that little poutine shop that's right across from World of Disney. Like I guaranteed. And I like that poutine better than the kind that you can get in Canada in World Showcase. So if I want something salty, that's where I'm staying. But my go-to, and anybody that knows me knows this, Sprinkles cupcakes are like the sugar just goes through my veins. And like you're saying how they switch it up with the flavors with the Dole Whip flights and stuff like that. I don't like Dole Whip, so good on you, David. That's great. There's a different flavor all the time. That's like a new limited edition flavor at Sprinkles Cupcakes. So yeah, I have a problem with the Sprinkles Cupcakes. It's the best.
We're all very similar. Because I was gonna say Swirls on the Water, and then I'm like, okay, what's my backup? And then I'm like, oh, the poutine, it's so good. And I have like seasonal, and I'm like, oh, all right, what's the last one? Oh, Sprinkles Cupcake, and they have an ATM.
The ATM is the best.
Yes.
11 o'clock at night. I'm just gonna get myself a cupcake.
Yes. It's and it like lights up like. Oh,
it's the most ridiculous thing because it's like 11 o'clock at night. You're like, I want a cupcake. I'm gonna go and put my money in here and get a cupcake delivered to me in this little machine, which is great, which is fantastic. Go back to Everglazed. Of course, they have the donuts and they have different donut sandwiches and stuff, which again I think are really, really good. They're very sweet. I can't do a ton of sweet all at one time. Like the Dole Whip, the Dole Whip is fine, and I'm not a fan of traditional Dole Whip itself. I like the lemon or the citrus swirl Dole Whip. So like I can't do a ton of sweet all at one time, which is also why I can't do a ton of the cookie at what you call it? The cookie place. Gideon's, yes, Gideon's, which I've only been there once. That actually was with Kyla. We walked by because the line is always so forever long. We happened to walk by one night, probably right before the whole thing was closed down for the night. It was late on Saturday or whatever time it was. And they were actually just motioning people to come in and there was no line. And so we went right on in and got our cookies and stuff. This was 2021, I think.
The only time I got a cookie, by the way.
And so yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna wait in the line. The cookies are great, but I'm not gonna wait in the line. It's not for me. Especially that hot sun line. I'm not gonna do it. It's a virtual.
There's like a virtual queue. I'm like, those cookies are amazing, but like, no, I'll just wait till 11 o'clock when they close and stand there and wait for the bounce.
And it's not shaded in traditional Disney style. It's not shaded at all. And so, and also we forgot. I'm gonna jump back to table services. We forgot Chef Art's Homecoming, which is delicious on every meal. I've had
like, oh,
brunch, I've had lunch, and I've had dinner, and it's delicious. And every single time I go, I love Chef Art's homecoming.
mm-hmm. It is very good.
I've been there twice with Kyla.
Every time.
See, what happens is, and this is for the audience to know that we don't even live too close to each other. What happens is our group goes together, and then everybody kind of, groups off with their 3 or 4 people they always hang out with. And Kyla, I can't get rid of her. She just will not. She just follows me around. So I'm like, well, I'm going to Chef Arts. And Kyla's like, people. I guess I'm going to Chef Arts. So, whatever. Anyway.
Actually, you forgot a little part to that story. It's always like, oh, everybody's done for the day. Where's Kyla? At Disney Springs.
Pretty much. Well, we tried to follow Heather, but Heather loses everybody. She's like, I'm out. See ya. And she just disappears. And she's like, I'm doing my own thing.
She's like, I'm going back to the Magic Kingdom where it doesn't rain.
Exactly.
Speaking of late nights, let's talk about the drinks. Now, I am not much of a drinker. Heather's really not a drinker either. Kyla is. So we can kind of cover the spectrum of the drinking there at Disney Springs. And one more time for Everglades, I'm going to go back to there. That's got my favorite iced coffee and iced coffee cold brew. There is a Starbucks there. There's several Joffreys there, and you can get drinks at all of them, and they're fine. I love the cold brew there at Everglades, and this is probably the most I've talked about Everglades collectively and since in my entire life. But there is that, of course, and I also am going to mention in terms of snacks and drinks, the bee company over at Savannah Bee Company. The honey stuff, the Savannah Bee Company. It is a Savannah Bee Company. It is wonderful because you can go in there and get samples of actual honey. They have the honeycomb and the honey and stuff like that. And Kyla can speak to the mead tasting because she's done that about 75 times every time she goes. But no, they do have a mead tasting there, and I've had it once before. But Kyla, for the audience, what is a mead tasting? What do you do there at Savannah Bee?
Okay, so mead is honey wine. It's been around for a trillion years. And when you go into the Savannah Bee store, by the way, everything is honey. Like David said, you can sample it. They have honeycomb, everything. I have like the mugs. I have hats. I have lip glosses. But what you can do is go in there and sample, what was it, 6 or 12? I don't remember. They give you 6 different kinds, 12 different kinds. Funny enough,
you can do 3 or 6, I believe. I think it's your choice, 3 or 6.
So whatever the moment is, that's what I do every time.
But if you do it twice, you can get 12.
Once is enough for me.
Or 18. Why not?
They had a mead from a meadery not too far from me one time too. There is a meadery in Londonderry here in New Hampshire called Moonlight, and they have some great meads. But anyway, so you sample all these like little honey wines, and they're all different flavored. Like we had blackberry, we had banana, we had just plain, and it's just like it's a fun experience to go in. It's not beer, it's not wine, it's honey wine. It's just a different experience. That's one of my favorites there.
Is it like sweeter than normal wine?
Some of it is, and some of it isn't. It's like, I'll compare it to like beers. Like some beers are stronger, like IPAs, and lagers and might be a little lighter. So that's kind of like how honey wine works. Some might be sweet and some are not.
And they'll have a collection there you can choose 6 out of. So it's not just like you have to have these 6. You can kind of pick and choose out of the 8 or 10 or whatever they may have. It is about $14 a person for 6 samples, and you can't share them. So just know that going in. If you go in with a group of people, you can't do like one little cup for 4 people. It's each to his own kind of thing. But I've done it, and I've done the honeycomb as well. I love that little shop. That's a fun little shop. It's a great little shop to go into, get a little snack, get something to drink. Heather, for the non-drinker, where do you like to get your beverages in Disney Springs?
So I was thinking of that, and I think really the only 2 places I ever stop is obviously they had some like electric blue drink at that poutine place like not too long ago. I know I got that. And if there's like, I always get one of the frozen, strawberry drinks at like Joffrey's. I don't really ever get a drink whenever I'm down there because I'm usually coming from a dining reservation. So I was thinking of that whenever you asked me, and I was like, I don't know that I ever do. But I mean, I'm sure now that I live here, whenever Kyla comes down, I'll just be like, oh, $14. I guess I'm going to try some honey mead. No idea. I think I actually asked her, I was like, what is it? Is it beer? And she was like, no, it's wine. And I was like, I don't know.
Also, Joffrey's, they have actually an actual standing location. They have carts all over the parks, but over close to the boathouse and close to that area here, they actually have a little on the corner, little standing location there. Go in and get all your coffees there, your cold brews, your hot coffees, hot teas, things like that. It's cool. And they have snacks as well. Of course, your Starbucks and your other places as well. And there's one place I'm trying to think of that has the gelato. What's the name of the?
Oh, is it Vivoli across from the boathouse?
Oh, Vivoli, that's the name of it. Yes, Vivoli il Gelato, right next to Joffrey's. And they have fantastic gelato. They have fantastic snacks and sweets there. You can actually make your own ice cream sandwich. They give you the big cookie. You pick your ice cream. They put a big blob of it on there, put another cookie on top. I've done that. It's messy as heck. So have lots of napkins ready because the ice cream will just run down your arm. And it's happened to me. So don't get this on the go, but it's really, really good. Again, for allergies, a lot of times gelato will not have dairy or soy in it. And so my son can have the lemon or the peach, and there's a couple of the fruity flavors of gelato he can have. And we've done that before too. We'll go in and I'm like, I'll take the coconut and some of the strawberry. And he's like, lemon it is for him. But gelato is really, really good. So that little corner there, get your ice cream, get your coffee. They have like shared tables and stuff. It's a good little place to kind of camp out. So Disney Springs, anything else we're missing? I know there's a ton of places we haven't talked about.
Yes.
Wine Bar George.
Okay. This is where I let you go. Yes, Wine Bar George. Let's not forget. If you can't do Haleo, go to Wine Bar George.
For those of you watching on YouTube, if you can see how excited Kyla's face is right now, and here's where we turn the show over.
I'd love to talk about Disney Springs.
I was just like, wait, we forgot so many things. Like Amorette's, they have wine slushies and cheesecake.
They have cake.
Okay, Amorette's is where a lot of times when you see online little dome cakes and things like that, the new specialty 100th anniversary dome cakes, Amorette's are going to have a lot of those. Go in the morning, go midday, because they will sell out. And I've gone at night looking for the 50th at the time. Dome cake looks so good. I could never get one. Or the Donald Duck dome cake. I could never get one because they're sold out by 6 p.m. So, and they have macarons as well.
Delicious. And dockside margaritas, if you're a tequila fan like myself, you have to get your margarita. They have a sunset one. It's excellent. And the rooftop of the Coca-Cola place.
I forgot about that place as well. I've got the map in front of me, and I'm like scanning this map, looking and going, where did we forget? The Coca-Cola place rooftop is fantastic. And I'm glad you said that because you go in, the first two are basically shopping. First two levels are just shopping. It's, fun stuff, kitschy stuff, just whatever. Take the elevator all the way up, although you can walk the ramp up if you really want to. I wouldn't, but you could. All the way up to the top, and you can get Coke flights, where they can do a scoop of ice cream, eight different flavors of Coke, like Fanta and Grape Coke and Coke, vanilla Coke and orange Coke, whatever. You can do an international Coke flight where they have Coke from all over the world with a scoop of ice cream. And I believe you can do it with some alcohol in it, I think. I've never done it, but I think you can. Kyla, I'm assuming you have.
I have never done a soda flight because generally I do not drink soda. I just go to the rooftop because I think the views are great. Especially
yes, they are.
And during the month of June, they have the Pride drink, which is different liquors that look like a rainbow, and they give a little skewer of gummy bears. So that's why I go in June.
We had that last year whenever I went.
Yes, we
with
did.
Kyle and Jenn, and our friend Clint Smith was there too. So we were all there as a group. But we had remember because we were sharing the gummy bears because you had several, and you were like, here, have a gummy bear. Here, folks, have a gummy bear. So yes, Coke Place is really, really great. What else are we forgetting?
Go, Kyla, go.
This is your moment, Kyla. This is your chance. Go.
It's your time to shine.
We should talk about the new place coming.
The Summer on the Lake, which sounds like it's a subdivision or an apartment complex. Where do you live?
That HOA.
Heather, where did you move? Somewhere on the lake. It's new buildings, a new construction. It's a wonderful little condo.
I'm wondering if it's going to look like one of these New Hampshire lakes up here. But that's supposed to have like California vibes, I feel like.
It looks like a very open like counter service, right? It's not like a table service or anything. Is that correct?
It was table service. I don't know.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't been there, obviously. But it's Summer on the Lake, which again sounds like an apartment. It's I'm sure
I'm excited for
just
like a new vibe, like a new something different.
Because that's where Bongos used to be, the big pineapple that was there, which I never went to Bongos, so I don't know anything about Bongos. Heather, anything else for Disney Springs?
No, I mean, I got all the time in the world to explore it now.
I'll send you my sheet that I sent clients.
Okay, great.
Because once Kyla gets going, Heather's going to take off and be like, I'm going to get something to eat. She'll come back a couple hours later. Kyla's still talking. And don't forget to get this great margarita over here at the Frontiera Cochina. It's really, really good. Second Thursday in July, they have a special one.
I will say that while I do not drink very often, me and Kyla had a disagreement in Mexico, but she did redeem herself. She told me to get the NPH margarita, which I hated, and I was whining about it because I'm super dramatic. And she was like, oh my God, just give it to me. And then she gave me her avocado margarita, and it was delicious. And I have gotten it several times since.
That's what they're known for.
Good. I bought the t-shirt. Yeah. They had an avocado margarita t-shirt, and I bought the t-shirt. And now
you were looking for that shirt. Yep. It wasn't like that you stumbled upon it. You're like, oh, it's a t-shirt. You were like, I got to find the shirt. Where's the shirt? I got to find the shirt.
Yep. I bought the shirt, drank my avocado margarita, but it's so good.
Mm-hmm. So if I need to know where a drink is, especially in Disney Springs, I just shoot a little message to Kyla and say, hey, where is this?
She goes on her phone. She has a little app she's developed of like best drinks. And
she's a ranking.
Exactly. So last question concerning Disney Springs. Is there a place at Disney Springs that you haven't tried yet that you're ready to try? You can't wait to try besides somewhere on the lake and the apartments and such. Is there a place that you just really want to try there that you just haven't gotten to or you're meaning to? And I guess Heather, that'd be a good question for Heather because she can try it whenever she wants.
I don't know necessarily that I want to try, but do you know how that it's always popping up for reservations for like Maria and Enzo's? I've never eaten there.
We ate there on a fam a few years ago. Were you not with us yet?
No.
I was not with you. I know that.
Back in 2018. When did you join us?
Me? I think it was like 2017, 2016 maybe? I don't know. But I also had Kylie with me on that first fam. I don't know. But I was like, oh, I want to. So this is kind of like fast forwarding. We are doing a series for the summer called Wayfinding Walt Disney World. And we are going to like do little things that we've never done before. So like that's on there. And that, what's the other one? That Terralina? Because I feel like people should give like reviews
Carolina
of these.
Italian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people should give reviews because if you always see a reservation open, like what type of food is it? Or is it just like how you guys are saying? I used to do the same thing before I lived here. I would go to the ones that I knew that I loved because we only had like half a day at Disney Springs. So I was going somewhere I loved, but maybe there's something else on the menu that I would like somewhere. So we're going to explore all the things.
Terralina was good. I will say the red sauce is not typical red sauce. And Jenn agreed.
I don't like red sauce.
Okay, then don't get the red sauce.
Problem solved.
Get a salad. It was good. It was good. It was pretty views if you sit outside.
Yeah.
Kyler's anywhere that you want to try that you just haven't tried yet?
You're gonna laugh. I haven't sat at the lounge outside of Rainforest Cafe. There's like the lava lounge.
Mm-hmm.
And I only want to sit there because I think the views would be great. And you're like right over the water. And you can order cocktails and you don't have to wait for a reservation inside. Because honestly, like we don't eat at Rainforest. We used to have one up here. So it's not as much of a novelty to me as it is to people traveling down there who may not have one where they live. But I want to like sit and drink at the Lava Lounge someday.
I want to try Chicken Guy. Now that you talked about the sauces and stuff, it's simple. It's a counter service. I could just dip in there and eat real quick and then leave. But I need to try Chicken Guy. I guess that's on my list. I won't be going back probably till at least November. And so maybe it's just when I fly in, I'll go to Disney Springs and try Chicken Guy.
There you go.
Because I'll be at Old Key West. I can hop the Disney Springs boat on over, and because if you were staying at Old Key West or Saratoga or Port Orleans, Riverside, or French Quarter, hop the boat, go straight down to Disney Springs, which is an appeal of all of those resorts because the boat to Disney Springs is quick and you're right there on the end. You can walk through, and it's fantastic. Disney Springs is a fantastic place to go. It's a lot of fun. I recommend to clients all the time, especially if they arrive midday. They're like, "What do we do for the day?" Go to Disney Springs. Just go. Just walk around. You're not gonna cover the whole thing in an afternoon because there's so much to look at, so much to see. You don't have to spend money if you don't want to, although you're gonna want to because there's shops for everything, and there's food to eat all over the place. And last thing, and I just remembered it, Splitsville it's actually pretty good food.
It is very good food.
For a client, for a family, if you're just looking for, I just need the basic pizza, chicken, hamburgers, whatever. It's great. It's a very lively, very good atmosphere, family atmosphere. It's not hard to get into unless it's just a really busy weekend. So I recommend Splitsville for the family that just, want something real basic. And there you go. Any final thoughts on Disney Springs dining? Kyla, now's your chance.
I love it.
Now that we are following you much more closely because you're there all the time now, where do we follow you on Instagram and on social medias and stuff as your ever building Moana Mom empire continues to grow and take over?
I don't know about empire, but it's at the Moana Mom on Instagram and Facebook. And like I said, we're doing something that we are doing wayfinding Walt Disney World, and then we're eventually going to expand it to do just like wayfinding all of Florida, because sometimes people come down here and they might only do Disney and that other park down the street for a little bit, or they'll
Gatorland.
But there's like beaches and so much to do here, and primarily we used to come down here, if we weren't going to like one of the small beaches that's like more popular known, we were always coming to Walt Disney World. And now it's like, oh my gosh, we live here and there's so many fabulous things to do here. So I'm like, okay, well, we're just going to wayfind our way through Florida. So follow along, because it's going to be fun, because we're going to do a ton of stuff like that we've never done before, because we're no longer on vacation. We're locals and there's no rush. So yeah, maybe I'll get a cupcake and an ice cream sandwich after dinner at 4:15.
As you should. Kyla, where can we follow you online?
You can find me at DisneyGeek27 on Instagram, and my name, Kyla Milberg, travel agent at Upon a Star Travel and Concierge on Facebook.
Very cool. And if you follow me on Instagram at @TheMagicOnADollar, typically you're going to see me reposting both Heather's and Kyla's stuff on a daily basis, because they post all the time and it's always great stuff. It's always great material. So I'm like, I'm lazy right now. I don't feel like finding anything and making my own ideas. So I'll just repost their stuff, and so it's easier. Find me, of course, like I said, on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook on Disney on a Dollar and Magic on a Dollar. And of course, follow the agency. Upon a Star Travel is where you can find us on all the Twitters and the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all those type of places. And TikTok. Our beloved Meredith is just a TikTok fiend, and everything she can throw together, she'll take a 7-second video of a door and be like, I'm going to put some music to this and turn it into Disney. And it works. Somehow it works. So, and every now and then she'll do royal stuff, which is like, I don't care, but hey, people love it. Why not? So that's the show, folks. Jenn's going to be back with us. You'll find her at Jenn_Novotny or Upon a Star Jenn on Instagram as well. And Kyla, Heather, thank you for joining us. Thank you.
It was fun, as always.
Part 2 Disney Springs. When do we talk about that?
We'll talk about the shopping and more drinks.
Yeah, Kyla should have her own episode where she just ranks the drinks of Disney Springs. I bet you that would actually be a very popular episode.
I could definitely do that.
We could definitely do that, actually, because we've had discussions before about like the best alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks at Disney World, and I think that would be great because have on Kyla, we know which one she's going to cover, and I could talk non-alcoholic, and Heather could do the same. We could definitely do that. So, for the buzz and for the sober. There you go. That's a good podcast. Kyla and I's new podcast, The Buzz and the Sober. Main Street Electrical Podcast. We'll see you next week. And don't forget to thank your Phoenicians and treat them to a drink.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.